Welcome to Western New York at Work, and today's guest is Dr. Julius Adams, the Executive Director of the Buffalo EOC Center. Good morning and welcome to Western New York at Work. And today's guest is Dr. Julius G. Adams of the Buffalo EOC Center. Dr. Adams, welcome to today's show.
Thanks, Bill. Happy to be here.
Yes. Well, Dr. Adams, let's go directly right into the conversation. You are the Executive Director of the Buffalo EOC. So can we start with a little history?
Sure. The Educational Top Opportunity Centers, there are 12 of us in the state, and they started about 50 years ago. Former Deputy Speaker Arthur O'Eve is actually the person, him and his colleagues, that created the EOCs. The apocryphal story is that he looked around about 50 years ago and noticed that on the campuses, there were not many people who looked like him. He's an African-American male. And so he was determined to increase the number of individuals of color who would be at the universities and the colleges. So they started by creating things like the EOCs. What we do is we look at individuals who are basically either economically or educationally disadvantaged. And the goal is to see what we can do to assist them so that they can basically, improve and become what it is that they would like to be, whether it is in the workforce or whether it is academically.
Okay. Sounds like you're creating a culture of lifelong learners.
Absolutely. Actually, that's part of our mission. The goal is to really create individuals who understand they can do it. For many people, sometimes the reason why they don't go to college is because either they don't see people like them or someone has kind of beaten them up to believe that college is something that they cannot achieve. And our goal is to simply remind people that maybe it's not for you this moment because life experiences are interfering with it. But college is an option for you. And our goal is to assist you as you attempt to achieve that goal.
Okay. And it's my understanding that you offer a plethora of programming, everything from English as a second language up to certification programs.
Absolutely. Each EOC tries to focus on the region and what their needs are. In our area, we have academic programming and we have vocational programming. Our vocational programming, although it's a smaller part of what we do, primarily is allied health. So it's dental assisting, certified nursing assisting, patient services tech. But we also have customer service, which we're really focusing on. And we are increasing our programming to include security guard training and also pre-construction and pre-advanced manufacturing. Our academic programming, you kind of already alluded to. One of it is our English as a second language. We also have high school equivalency. And then we have something that we call academic review. And academic review is kind of all things to all people. I hate to put it that way. But we do a lot in that program, and that's actually our largest program. It's for individuals who are not ready for the high school equivalency program. They don't have a skill set, and so they want to beef it up before they start that program. It's for individuals who have a high school diploma, but they feel that the schools did not prepare them well enough. So they really want to beef up their math and their reading or literacy skills. So that's what I mean when I say it tends to be all things to all people. We categorize it that way, but I think that the goal is to try again to meet individuals or our potential students where they're at and move them along in a positive way.
Okay. And certainly the pandemic has disrupted the world and turned it upside down. How has it affected how you provide your delivery of training?
I give you credit. That's an understatement. Because we're always talking about what the new norm will be. As you know or may not know, that in March of last year, the governor basically shifted all of our classes to remote. So while we were all teaching in person until March of 2020, the pandemic forced everybody to teach their classes, well, not all classes, but most classes remotely. So that was a new experience for us. That we had some of our faculty who really were ahead of the game and had been teaching courses online. Everybody had to learn now. So this was an exciting new approach for us. So the pandemic has caused us to kind of rethink how we might deliver some of our programs. The bad news is it is a horrific pandemic and it's a horrific experience, but we have tried our best to see what we can get out of this that could benefit our students. Mm-hmm. And again, the reminder to everyone is we are here. If you need us, call us. If you need us, email folks. Everybody has access to their emails and everybody will return any call.
Yes. And certainly we all have had to reinvent ourselves, whether you're a business or an individual, and you eloquently describe how that affected your world. Because I heard a quote that you had stated, and it was math is literacy. And I thought about that when I heard that. I said, the next time I speak to Dr. Adams, I'm going to ask him if he could expand on that, because I thought that was very poetic. It means different things to different people, but I think it's important that we get a better grasp of it.
In the dinosaur days when I was in school, when they taught math, it was simply in many ways about the numbers. That it was the facility with the numbers. There might have been some word problems, but it was facility with numbers. Now, when we talk about math, it's not just the facility with numbers, it's being able to read the problem. It's a word problem. So really math is also literacy. So if a person can't read the problem, if the person can't understand the words that are describing the situation, then they will never get to trying to solve the problem correctly, because it's not simply 5 times 5 or 9 divided by 3. Now it is a paragraph that describes a situation, and you have to then interpret and work through that paragraph so that you can get the salient or the most important parts to it to then solve the problem. So yes. When I talk about that, that's what I'm really talking about, that it's really critical for us to keep that in mind.
Okay. And for any parent or adult learner that would like more information, how should he or she contact the college?
In terms of the Buffalo EOC, they can go to our website. It's buffalo.edu/EOC. And that may be the easiest way to do it. I think it's 645-1900. We'll get you to our admissions office. And if you leave a message, I can guarantee you somebody will return the call.
Fantastic.
That we are always there to ensure that we can provide some service for our students or potential students.
Okay. All right. Well, Buffalo, you're watching Western New York at Work. I'm having a very great conversation with Dr. Adams with the Buffalo EOC. Don't go anywhere. And when we come back, we're going to find out some of the other amazing things that they're doing during this crazy life after COVID period. Western New York at Work is brought to you by our key business partners and many business professionals. Bocce's Club Pizza, Staff Buffalo, Buffalo Healthy Living, CAI, Hope Buffalo, Embassy Suites, 716 Limousine.
Hi there, Connie Whitesell with Scattered to Streamline Business Coaching here. I wanted to jump on and share a coaching tip from a recent client conversation that actually comes up quite a bit. It's around finding time. We have become such a busy society, and believe me, I'm guilty of this too. So much to do and not enough time to do it. Sound familiar? In this case, the business owner, she just needed time to work on outlining a new program that she wanted to offer in her business. But it's quarantine, she's at home, the kids are home, she has a lot of other work to do in her business, and was just having a hard time finding the time to fit in this important project for her business. Can you relate? How many of us have projects we'd love to work on for our business, but there never seems to be the time to do anything other than the work that already has to be done? Here's what I'd like you to consider though. Look at your calendar for this week. You have time blocked for appointments and meetings, don't you? You do make time for client work. You make time for client and potential client meetings. My calendar. Looking at this, I've got coaching sessions, I've got a networking meeting, I'm doing a presentation later this week, and I bet your schedule is just as filled up. And I bet you made all of those appointments and those meetings. I bet you were present for them. So consider this. Where are the meetings with yourself on your calendar to work on your business? Isn't that work just as important, if not more important, than most of the other meetings and appointments on your schedule? I encourage you, set those meetings with yourself. Put them in the calendar. Start with just 1 hour a week to work on your business planning, maybe starting a new project, developing your marketing schedule for the month, whatever is most important for you right now. And commit to this time like you would your most important client meeting. Don't reschedule, don't ignore it. This is your business that you created for yourself that you want to succeed at. And these small steps will get you there. So I challenge you, in the next week, just do this once. Just give it a try, 1 hour. Put it on the calendar and let me know how it goes. If you have any questions or would like to explore business coaching further, please contact me. You can go right to my website, scatteredtostreamline.com, or email me at cwhitesell@scatteredtostreamline.com.
Welcome back to Western New York at Work. I'm your host, Dale Martin, and we've been having a great conversation with Dr. Julius Adams, who is the executive director of the Buffalo EOC Center. And I think you speak to two populations. One, the student that has to learn, be able to adapt and learn a new way. But my gosh, the parents that are struggling to teach, their kids. Because as you mentioned a moment ago, when we were back in the dinosaur days, but it just has to be very complicated for today's parents to be able to all of a sudden be expected to train and teach their son or daughter because of this new remote learning environment.
Parents always understood that they had a role in their child's learning. This is not news to them. But what is new to them is the significance of that role.
Yes.
And what's new to them is how much they're being held accountable for what typically had gone on in the classroom. So we have a lot of parents who are struggling, who, when I used to do private practice therapy, for some parents, we would talk about the fact that you should not be assisting your child in their academics because that's the focal point of all of your conflict. That okay. What you should do is monitor it, but if you can, go to the school and either get a tutor or find out where you can get a free tutor. So then you remove yourself from that kind of conflict. That's not a lot of people, but that's some. Can't even say that anymore. because right now it's like everybody has to be involved. Everybody has to be part of it. And, I've talked to some parents who their children are supposed to be, now they've been on lockdown because of the virus. The children are in the house. And then they get a call from the school. Your child hasn't been in class for for 6 days. And they're like, how could that be? They're up in their room, but they're up in their room not doing what they're supposed to do. So it is a very new game. And for my adult learners, where this becomes a problem is that they now must compete with their children for bandwidth. They now must compete with their children for access to the computer. And for many of them, their agreement with Verizon or whatever does not allow for the amount of use. And therefore, there's a problem when you're dealing with my students who are already at the poverty level and indicating to them that somehow you have to find a deal that will allow either quicker or more access, and they can barely afford what they're getting now. So that's really a challenge. And that's something that is going to impact on their ability to help their kids and their ability to move forward.
Dr. Adams, one of the things that we haven't touched upon is what is the investment? What is the cost for all of this good information and training that comes out of the Buffalo EOC?
Well, the wonderful part about this is that it's tuition free. That despite the pandemic, despite the budget crisis, the classes and the courses at the Buffalo EOC are tuition free, meaning that students do not have to pay to take those classes. We also try our best to pay for extraneous things so that if somebody needs scrubs, we try to make sure that we can pay for that. We pay for textbooks. Our goal is to try to pay for as much as possible.
Okay. And for any of our viewers out there that are just joining us, Dr. Adams, you talked about some of the new programming that you're going to be rolling out. Can we speak further about that?
Absolutely. So we're developing a pre-advanced manufacturing / a pre-construction program. And that's going to be starting in June of this year. It is a program that will lead to OSHA certification. And it will also lead to certification in fasteners and adhesives. So this is an exciting opportunity because when individuals finish this program, the construction season in Buffalo, while it's kind of starting, is in full gear in about June, July. And so the expectation is that by the time the person finishes this program, they will be able to easily enter a job in the construction field in Buffalo. So that's a very exciting opportunity that we have that we're developing right now.
Yes, great.
We also have approved a security guard program. So we will be starting our security guard program in the fall. Many individuals look at that as a possibility of something to fall back on, but others look at it as a way of entering the law enforcement field. That they might start with security guard and then they will look to see, if the Buffalo Police or the state police are hiring. So this for us is another new vocational area that we're moving into. And then we have customer service. And customer service is an interesting area because when you talk to a lot of employers, their concern is the fact that they're hiring people who they feel don't have solid soft skills, the skills that will allow their employees to be successful in the workplace, to understand that they must come to work. As simplistic as that is. They must come to work on time. That they can, how you interact with the supervisor. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but in many businesses, especially entry-level jobs and positions, the turnover tends to be so great that at times the supervisor is very young and very inexperienced. So how can we support that supervisor? And so we're looking at customer service as a way to do that. That is an area where when they finish, they'll sit for the National Work Readiness Credential, and this will be another credential that they can then send or hand to an employer to provide evidence that they have engaged in some training that will indicate that they have a minimal level of soft skill development.
Yeah, and that partnership and that dialogue with employers, I think, is critical. It demonstrates your ability to take a look at what opportunities exist in the marketplace and how you can build a pipeline of lifelong learners and career opportunities for the students that come through the program.
Right. It's interesting because in our allied health programs, by definition, we have to have partnerships with some of the local agencies. So like, Buffalo Medical Group, we have employees, I should say, or students there. In a lot of the dental offices, we have students who will go there, not just for their training, but for our dental assisting program, they're also hired. We work with the Buffalo Urban League. We also work with the WIB board, the Workforce Investment Board, so that we can talk about, are there globally agencies or employers who want to figure out ways of partnering so that we can provide training? So in addition to our work with students, with individuals, we are also open to work with potential stakeholders, organizations who really want to improve their staff. And sometimes we look at their eligibility along these lines. If you have employees and they're working in a position that probably is above what our acceptance level is because we're at the poverty level, but you really feel a need to work with them, talk to us, because maybe there's some way we can work with that. Because we have students who it might be worthwhile to have them sit in class with some of your employees so that they can learn what your agency or what your organization is all about. And my students can learn, more importantly, what it means to have a job and talk to individuals about that.
We're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll have more great conversation with Dr. Julius G. Adams, the Executive Director of the Buffalo EOC Center. Western New York at Work is brought to you by our key business partners and many business professionals. Bocce's Club Pizza, Staff Buffalo, Buffalo Healthy Living, CAI, Hope Buffalo, Embassy Suites, 716 Limousine.
Hi, Sally with Eat Well Buffalo, and at Eat Well Buffalo, we offer simple suggestions and healthy recipes so you can live your busy life and not have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen preparing and cooking meals. So over the next couple of weeks, Eat Well Buffalo is going to share some of our healthiest and easiest recipes, and we'll do a short video of it, and we'll post the recipe and the ingredients on our Eat Well Buffalo website. We hope you get the chance to check them out and give us some feedback on them. And in the meantime, our healthy eating tip for this week is eat more fruits and veggies, especially for snacks. So if you're eating apple slices, add a healthy nut butter, peanut butter to it. If you're eating cut up veggies like carrots and bell peppers, add a healthy hummus. The hummus and the peanut butter will give you protein, fiber, and maybe some healthy fats. Enjoy.
Welcome back to Western New York at Work, and we're having a conversation with Dr. Julius G. Adams, who is the Executive Director of the Buffalo EOC Center. Yeah. Throughout the course of our conversation, there's one word that keeps resonating with me, and that is committed. You have lifelong learners that have made a choice that they're now going to be committed, whether it's to reinvent themselves or to start a new career. But I also say that because you must have a committed staff in order to have the type of success you've achieved.
Absolutely. I would love to take credit for everything, but I think you, being a former member of advisory council, you know that would be a lie. So I have Deborah E.J. Thompson, who's my Associate Executive Director. Deborah is in charge of making sure that the curriculum is in place, making sure that programming is meeting the needs of the community, making sure that the staff understand what we need to do globally to ensure that the center is working well. I have Anthony Funigello, who is the supervisor of our counseling unit. We refer to Anthony as the Renaissance man because we have him doing everything, we just don't pay him. So Anthony has done incredible things with data, helping us look at the data, helping us with our registration system. I have Sierra Johnson, who is I don't want to say new because she's been here for about a year, but she came on board as the pandemic hit. But she's in charge of our admissions office. She's our supervisor of enrollment management. Our numbers are down, okay? But when you talk across the state, the numbers in almost every adult education program is down. Mm-hmm. Now, history has shown that when the economy tanks, so when the economy slows down, people come to us in droves. And I don't mean us personally, all the adult education programs. We've not seen that this time. And historically, we try to find what is the singular reason for that. There is no singular reason. It's the pandemic, but it's not just the pandemic, it's the fear. But it's not just the fear, it's the children working remotely. But it's not that just the children working remotely, it's the need for a vaccination. And it's not, and it goes on and on.
Yes.
And we can't control any of those things. So what we're trying to do is to remind people that we understand, because we're living it too, what it means to respond to the pandemic. But if there's a way that you can think about, now would be a good time to look into some options for yourself. Reach out to us.
Yeah. And speaking of that, could you provide the telephone number or the web address once again?
The phone number for admissions is 645-1900. Our webpage, our web address is www.buffalo.edu. EOC.
Dr. Adams, we can't thank you enough for being a part of today's conversation. Is there any areas of EOC that we haven't talked about up to this point that we want to make sure that our viewers are aware of?
Well, thanks again, Dale, for this opportunity. Just to remind everybody that the EOC is really here for them, that this is an organization whose goal it is to work with the community, both individually and globally, so that prior to the pandemic, you would have seen us at Juneteenth. You would see us kind of out in the community, even in some cases going door to door. Right now, we're trying to do things differently. So we've been reintroduced, and in my case, introduced to social media. And so we are learning how to use social media, and I'm going to encourage people to look for us on Facebook. We're beginning a presence on TikTok, which is new to me, and Twitter. So look for us there. Remember that we provide information and support for individuals who want to go to college. We have a college and community connections program that will assist people as they not just choose college, but fill out a FAFSA form if that's appropriate, to apply to college, and to even think about a major. If you're not sure about programming, if you're not sure what you want to do, if you're still just thinking about it, please call our admissions office at 645-1900, or go to our website at buffalo.edu, buffalo.edu/EOC, and just navigate the website and then contact admissions.
Okay, great. Dr. Adams, once again, thank you so much for being a part of today's conversation. We wish you continued success and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks a lot, Dale. I appreciate it.
Western New York at Work is brought to you by our key business partners and many business professionals. Bocce's Club Pizza, Staff Buffalo, Buffalo Healthy Living, CAI, Hope Buffalo, Embassy Suites, 716 Limousine.
Welcome to Game on Glio, the podcast providing hope, inspiration, education, and real conversations around the difficult journeys of being diagnosed with brain cancer, including glioblastoma. I'm your host, Shannon Traphagen. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Game on Glio Podcast, or visit our website, the Game on Glio Podcast, for insights and guest snapshots. If you enjoy our show, please consider writing a review. Also share us with a friend. This podcast is in partnership with Brains for the Cure. Learn more at brainsforthecure.org.